Okay, so let's talk about catalysis, which are reactions or processes that involve a catalyst. And a catalyst is a substance that increases the rate of the reaction, and it does this by lowering the activation energy. So it lowers the energetic barrier that the reactants have to travel across to progress to the products. Catalysts are not consumed in the reaction, they are regenerated, and they can occur in one step or multiple steps. So let's look at the energy diagram in the presence and absence of a catalyst. So here is an endothermic process mapped onto this energy diagram. The red line shows this process in the absence of a catalyst, and the blue line shows this process in the presence of a catalyst, right? And so we see how with the catalyst, we lower this activation energy, and we actually end up with a different reaction pathway in the presence of the catalyst, where it's a two-step process as opposed to a one-step process in the absence of the catalyst. So there are different types of catalysts. Homogeneous catalysts are usually in the same phase as the reactants, and they form an intermediate that is formed in one step and immediately consumed in the next step. And the catalyst is not consumed, it's regenerated. So here's an example of a homogeneous catalyst, glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase, which is an enzyme that's involved in the metabolic pathway that supplies NADPH to cells. This is a molecular structure of this enzyme, a ribbon structure, and here is the pathway or the mechanism involved with this enzyme. So this enzyme actually catalyzes this step that regulates, that goes from NADP plus to NADPH. Should be NADPH. This is important because this regulation of NADPH also regulates glutathione, which is an antioxidant that protects red blood cells and other cells from oxidative damage. So G6PD, right? This catalyst is also what will be considered a biocatalyst as well as a homogeneous or homogeneous catalyst. A heterogeneous catalyst is usually in a different phase from that of the reactant. So most commonly the catalyst is in the solid phase and the reactants are in the gas or liquid phase. So here's an example where ethylene reacts with hydrogen to form ethane. And in this case, the catalyst is solid nickel. So first, hydrogen binds to this nickel surface, right? The hydrogen bonds are broken and nickel hydrogen bonds are formed. So then ethylene comes in, and then the carbon-carbon double bonds are broken and nickel forms nickel-carbon bonds. So the next step, carbon hydrogen bonds are able to form as a result of these atoms diffusing and basically colliding across this nickel surface to form ethane, which is then desorbed off of the nickel surface. So this is an example of a heterogeneous catalyst where our catalyst is actually a solid surface and our reactants are able to come onto the surface and carrying out the reaction. And that is catalysis.